Botswana's diamond industry is at a crossroad, and not for the first time. 2026 is another pivotal year for Botswana's diamonds, and therefore the country as a whole. The Finance Ministry published its annual budget strategy paper in January, revealing some crucial information we didn't know about previously, namely the level of diamond inventory circulating in Botswana. The Treasury said that Botswana's diamond industry stood at 12 million carats in December. That's nearly double the government's 6.5 million carat target. In other words, 85% above normal levels. This is significant for two reasons. The first is in the context of De Beers, the potential sale of the company by majority shareholder Anglo American and its presence in Botswana. And the second relates to Botswana's heavy reliance on the diamond market, the risk that involves and the government's strategy moving forward to stimulate economic growth. Let us first consider the De Beers question. Now, De Beers is very coy about the inventory it holds. It's a very closely held secret within the confines of the company. Those 12 million Botswana carats gives us some insight into the buildup of inventory at De Beers. Granted, it's not clear where that inventory actually sits. Remember, De Beers has a layered structure in Botswana, governed by joint ventures it holds with the government in Botswana, the local mining operation, as well as in DTC Botswana, which sorts and distributes local production. In addition, all of De Beers' production, including from its operations in Canada, Namibia and South Africa, is aggregated. It's mixed together and sold in Gaborone through its sites and auctions. So does that 12 million carat inventory reflect goods held by Botswana/DTC Botswana, representing Botswana's own production? Or does it capture inventory across the broader system, including De Beers' production from Canada, Namibia, South Africa, that is aggregated in Gaborone? Plus, there's polished diamonds that are manufactured in Botswana as well. It's not clear, but either way, it marks a significant deviation from the norm and underscores the disconnect between different segments of the diamond market. As demand continues to shift towards value, parts of the supply side are left holding the large volume of inventory that are increasingly difficult to move. From a De Beers point of view, the high inventory is not surprising considering the decline in rough sales, which will be revealed in Anglo American's fourth quarter production report on February 5th and its full year results to be published on February 20th. I estimate that De Beers sales actually rose slightly or were at least flat in 2025, but that really buries the lead. There was a significant decline from 2023 to 2024, about 8 million carats worth, which bloated De Beers' inventory and led us to today's inventory challenge, to put it lightly. In other words, current levels of demand are well below historic norms. Now, the 12 million carats are more about Botswana than De Beers, but we need to remember how intricately the two are connected. Botswana owns a 15% stake in De Beers and is considering raising that stake to a majority share as Anglo American prepares to sell its 85% stake in De Beers. And that raises the question that for me stood out in the Treasury's strategy paper. Is it good strategy for the government to increase its exposure to diamonds by purchasing more of De Beers, given that inventory and given market conditions? Would that be a hindrance to its goal to diversify the economy? To be clear, the bloated inventory is actually not the story. It's a reflection of what's really going on. The paper noted that Botswana's economy is expected to have contracted, that's negative growth, in 2025. And that's largely because of continued weakness in the global diamond market. Some other diamond-related bullet points to take note of from the paper. The ministry said that US tariffs on diamonds is a source of concern. Diamond production volume fell 3.2% in the first 9 months of last year, mining activity being a major contributor to GDP. Subdued global demand, lower rough prices, shifts in consumer preferences, increased competition from lab-grown diamonds, and rising production costs, all considerations contributing to that lower production number. Now, rough sales fell in the first half of the year, but improved significantly in the third quarter due to accelerated purchases ahead of the new US tariffs, which, as I mentioned, I think helped lift the overall annual sales number. But despite that third quarter improvement, the ministry stressed that the overall outlook for the diamond sector remains highly uncertain, end quote. Now, the short-term and long-term goal is to reduce that inventory. Botswana can do so by selling more diamonds, which is dependent on demand, or it can reduce production, which is not ideal given that mining activity carries such significant weight in the GDP calculation. And that sounds like a cold way to look at it. But really, mining carries significant weight in Botswana's economy. It affects jobs, it affects the extent to which the government can provide for its citizens who enjoy free education and healthcare. Last year, the government fell short of its budget and could not provide some critical health services. And that's a direct result of the drop in diamond revenue, in diamond production. So there are very real consequences to all of this. So what do we expect from Botswana in 2026? Well, firstly, we're keeping an eye on that Anglo American sale of De Beers. I've said it before, I don't think it's in Botswana's best interest to take a controlling interest in De Beers. It can't afford to increase its exposure to diamonds at this time, given current market conditions. I think Botswana needs foreign investment, and an outside investment in De Beers would be a much needed expression of confidence in the country, let alone the diamond industry. That's the first thing. Secondly, the government's rough sales arm, Okavango Diamond Company, or ODC as it's known, is also a crucial player in reducing that inventory glut. ODC is entitled to 30% of Botswana production and is changing the way it operates. ODC is undergoing a management change, with the CEO having stepped down at the end of last year, and it is introducing rough contract sales. So it will come under some scrutiny to improve its performance this year, especially because the government has suggested that it can do a better job than De Beers. ODC will be the test case in that regard. And finally, Botswana needs to take a leading role in marketing natural diamonds, independent of De Beers and independent of the Natural Diamond Council, of which ODC is a member and contributes funds. That doesn't mean only telling the Botswana diamond story. It has the most to gain from raising demand across the category. But that said, the Botswana diamond story is a special one, and it needs to be told in a fresh and creative way, because if this strategy paper that the Treasury published told us anything, it reminded us of the good that diamonds do in Botswana and how reliant the country is on the diamond industry, and particularly on the demand side. Every retail jeweler in the United States and elsewhere should be aware of that. Every natural diamond sale that they make has far-reaching implications. Let me know what you think. Should Botswana double down on De Beers? What should be its approach to marketing natural diamonds? As always, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, hit that like button, and subscribe. I'm Avi Kravitz. I'll see you next time.